Hey YouTube and RC groups, Stupid Monkey, Sean Byington here. Well, I got a tripod, so we will be able to do a little bit more cooler videos, I guess. And, well, maybe not cooler, but I'll be able to put the camera on me a little bit longer, the project I'm working on. And today we are addressing rebuilding the firewall. The plastic firewall I tried to glue together, it's not working. So I went down, picked up some birch, and I'm going to use the old firewall on the airplane as a template. I'm going to trace it out onto here, cut it, sand it, file it, do all the good stuff to make it look the same, and I'm going to put it on the plane. Thing that sucks is I have to split the fuselage. So I'm going to try to split the fuselage probably back to here, just before the tail section, and open it up far enough to get that firewall out of there. I think I can do that. So we'll see. I don't know. But so anyway, I'm going to set you guys on the tripod, and we'll see how well we can get this video to go. All right. So bear with me. This is my first tripod video I've ever shot, and I hope it works out as well as I'm expecting it to. So yesterday I got a flight in 14 minutes. Actually it was about 15, but for some reason midair my camera shut off at 8 minutes and change. I don't know why. I didn't even bother posting the video. Any video without a landing isn't worth posting at all. So without any further ado, here we go. Let's go ahead and get this done. I got to change batteries in my camera really quick, I just realized, and move on. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to split the fuselage. I don't know how this all goes together. I mean, I haven't split the fuselage yet on this thing, and like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and split it back to probably about right here, just far enough for me to open this up wide enough to get the firewall out. So, you know, first things first is get the wings off. This pop these screws out.
Anything, don't they?
Yeah, so kind of bummed out that this repair didn't really work out so well, but you know, whatever. Who cares? It's a learning experience. I kind of knew better. You know, we don't really use hot glue for everything. Works well for a lot of things, but it doesn't work well for all things, I guess. You know, whatever. So it is what it is. What do we got going on here? Huh. Alright. Well. Got some stuff going on here. I don't really like what I'm seeing. Oh, split the plastic. Shoot. Oh, crud. That's okay. The other pieces are together alright. Alright, so I'll just have to grab, before I put this plane together, I'll have to see what happened here is the plastic inside the plane broke. So, oh well, whatever. Who cares? We'll fix it later. Just set the wings on over here, out of the way some. All the stuff out of the way. Alright. Trash bags. Prop off. Prop off. Damn, I got that on there tight. Small little needle nose. Go. Props out. This is out. So, some stuff off to the side here. These little screws. Actually, these little screws can go back into my stress so we don't lose them. Actually, no, I may not have to split this thing back as far as I was expecting. I can get away with splitting the bottom of it. Probably just past the battery case. Oh man, I've got to pull the windscreen off too though. So we'll see how that works out here in a minute. Now the plywood I got, or the birch I got, I should say, it's not plywood, it's just birch. It's it's about the same thickness as the plastic, so it'll fit back into the spot pretty well. And I got this 5-minute epoxy, quick cure, from Gorilla Hobbies. So that's what we're gonna use. Put it all back together again, if it all works the way I'm hoping it does. Over there. Well, the stupid camera quit while I was tearing into this thing, so I don't know how much you guys saw of that. I haven't watched to see where it was at. Yeah, I got the firewall out. I didn't cause too much damage to the... Oops. I keep on doing that to you guys. I didn't cause too much damage to the foam. Pulling the firewall out. I mean, it's a little bit twisted and bent in some places. But for the most part, I mean, this thing, I got it to spread a bunch. I mean, this thing opens up a whole lot now, enough to where I could slide these two little tits back out of the plane, or the four tits up past this area right here, the edge. So I pulled it straight out through the top, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace it onto my birch here, and I'm going to build a birch firewall. So I'm going to do a little bit of filing or sanding or something to get these things down flat. I don't need them anymore here. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of them really quick, and then like I said, lay it on here, trace it out, and then I'm going to cut it with the coping saw. We'll see how well this works. Alright. I was trying the tripod thing, but there's something wrong with the camera. It keeps on shutting itself off, so we're not going to do it that way. We're just going to do it step by step. Alright? So we're going to move on. Be with you in just a second. I'll be back after I'm done tracing this out onto the birch. Alright, so I copied my firewall. There. See that? To there. So now we have a one-piece firewall instead of two-piece firewall. Yay! So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna rough cut it with this guy right there, and then after I'm done rough cutting it, I'll go through with sandpaper and a file, and I will file and sand everything down to the line, because that's where I want it to be. I'm going to cut it on the outside of the line, or at least, you know, I'll get it pretty close to the line, if not right on the line for the most part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, you know, right now I'm just going to cut it square. So this is, I'm going to cut this straight down, I'm going to cut it straight across, and then I'll be able to work with it. Alright, so I'll be back with you after I'm done cutting it square. Okay, now we have a workable piece. I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to try to cut it as close to the line as possible. That way I'll have as little sanding or filing to do later on. So let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to try something here. I don't know how well it's going to work, but I'm going to try something really quick, and if it doesn't work that well for me, I'm going to move on. I'll tell you if it works or not. So, well, I tried to use an X-Acto knife on a scrap piece to see if I could cut through it. You'd be here for a million days of Sundays, a million Sundays, just trying to do that one little cut. So I am using the coping saw, and I will be back with you guys as soon as I get this cut out. All right. Well, and then the dust settled, and we have a firewall. Look at that. I think they're pretty close to the same. I made this hole a little bit bigger. Well, let's match them up. What do you think? I think it's the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it back together. I'm all done. I'm gonna have a little bit of work to do. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna epoxy all this together now that I tore it all apart. Clean my table off really quick. We're sawdust everywhere. Once the dust settled, it was all right though. Come on, Mimi. So yeah, firewall is built. Doesn't look too bad. Pretty close. So I'm gonna move on. I'll put it back together now. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye. So what I did to locate the motor mount screw holes was I just, laid the original firewall over the top of the new one that I built, and I ran the screws through. So I've got all the holes. It's all lined up. It's exactly the way it was. Everything matches. I mean, as you can see, it's all exactly the same. So that's that. So the screws are in, all that stuff. Now I got to mark where my Dubro gear is going to go, get that screwed in and mounted, and move on. All right. Just another update. Okay, what I've done now is I went ahead and I epoxied backing plates on the back side of the firewall wherever I'm going to be running screws through. You know, I'm going to have 4 screws. These 4 screws here are going to go through the landing gear on the opposite side of this. You know what I'm saying? But this is going to go on like that on the back side. So I've got the 4 screws going through there, or I got the backing plate for that. And I made the backing plate a little bit bigger so I could distribute the pressure a little bit more higher up on the firewall. I don't know. It looks like it might cause a little bit of a thickness issue here, right here, behind here. But this foam pulls out pretty good, so I'm not too worried about it. I can always stick the foam over the top of that. We'll find out. I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but I've got to let everything dry so I could test fit and make sure it's all going to go together. I still don't know what I'm going to do here. I may end up cutting 4 strips out of here, or 4 more strips, and epoxying 4 strips here before I put it together on. I really don't want to leave all this stuff, but I'm going to have to. So that I have a place to put the cowl screws. You know, these little tiny guys. There's 1, 2. Alright, so those little guys right there, I've got to be able to screw them in, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. I haven't figured that out. But, maybe I'll just... You know what? Maybe I'll just squirt hot glue into those holes in the side of the fuselage. Right here. After I get it all put together, maybe I'll just squirt hot glue into those holes and then run the screws into the hot glue. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see how well this works. After, when I get back, I gotta go do a job really quick, so... I don't know. I'll be back either way. I've got to run out and do a job. So, that's that. We're good. Alright, so just so you guys can see what's going on, here's the firewall. And boom. That is the way that it's going to go. So I think it's going to look good. I think we're good. So I've got a bunch of epoxying to do. I don't know how I'm going to epoxy all this together without, you know, it all setting up before I get it pushed together or anything like that. So this is going to be... Okay, well, I've got the nose gear on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Excuse me, Keely. There's my daughter. Hi, Keely.
Hi.
I'm going to epoxy this side of the fuselage first, kind of get it all filled up with epoxy, and then we're going to spread the fuselage. We're going to open the fuselage up as far as we can open it, my wife and I. And I'm going to set in the firewall on the left side first, and then once that epoxy is all set up and I'm satisfied that I've got that pretty well where I want it, you know, it's going to all close together. Once that's all set up, we're going to peel it back apart again, and I'm going to fill all this with epoxy, and then push it back together. Because I got to epoxy the, you know, the everything that I broke loose. I broke loose a lot of foam on this thing. You know, I got the. If you look here, I've got the battery box is pulled apart all the way up. And since the right side of the fuselage, the right side being, or I guess it would be left side depending on where you're looking at it from, but the right side of the fuselage is where it pulled away from the battery box. So I don't know if this is gonna work or not. I'm hoping it works. I'm actually really nervous about this. I'm trying to get my head around what I'm about to do. So anyway, we got it. It's now our firewall. It is a firewall. So I've got it all backed up where screws are coming through. There's You got screws that come through here and then screws that come through up here. So I've got little backing plates up in there. It feels like it's about the same weight as the plastic one, but I am going to CG the plane when I'm done. I would recommend, if anybody else is doing this, I'd recommend doing that yourselves as well. So kind of give you an idea. There's my firewall. It fits perfect. So let's get started, see what happens, and I'll another update in a minute. Okay, so what I've done, or what we've done, my wife and I. Here's Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa. She says, no, you're not getting no film of me. Anyway, what we've done is I went ahead and I got epoxy all along inside here. I mean, you can see there's epoxy all over the place. It's up underneath. I've got it all. This firewall's in there. It's stuck on the left-hand side, or on the right-hand side if you're standing from the back of the plane. The next step is we're going to open it, pull it as far as you can open, so that you can get an epoxy stick or a mixing stick down in there, and we're going to epoxy everywhere else on the foam, on the firewall, and we're going to do the bottom at the same time. So you got to mix out a lot of epoxy and just kind of, you know, cram it in there, and we'll hopefully it doesn't set up before we get the plane put together. All right, so that's that. I'll have another update in just a second. All right, so the firewall's in. It's all epoxied and all that. I think that I messed up though. I think that this hole here is supposed to go further over, but I've got a rat tail file, a little round file. It's called a rat tail. This guy right here, that I can always file out and move the hole over, so I've got control. But I'm almost right up against the firewall. The firewall is almost right there where the control linkage goes through at. But you know, we'll see what happens here. I've got this. I figured out what I'm going to do here. I've already got the parts and pieces that came with the Dubro kit. I just didn't know how to hook it up. Now I know how to hook it up. So, you know, knowing's half the battle. This thing is solid. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. If it does, it's taking the whole front of the plane with it. So, with that being said, I still have to glue the top of this. See that? And put in all the final pieces. So, I'll give you guys updates as I do that. All right. So, moving on. Okay, well, I got the top half glued. That seam up here. I've got my wing mount back in. Right here. It's all in. And I got the windscreen back on. It's all looking good. I did get a little bit of epoxy that pushed through these holes here, so I took my razor knife and, you know, scraped it out really quick while it was still kind of wet before it hardened up all the way, and turned into, you know, basically a rock. So yeah, anyhow, this is coming along quite well. Next update, I'll have the motor in, and yeah, have the motor in and whatnot, and then the landing gear. Next update, I'll put the motor on, landing gear right now, and I'll come back in with an update on how this is going to work out. I don't know yet. So, all right, guys. Well, she's coming back together pretty quickly. See you in a minute. All right, guys. Well, there she is. It's done. We have straight landing gear, and it's all together. Wood firewall. Yeah, buddy. What's up with that? What do you guys know about that shit? I know a couple of you guys know more than I do, but I got it done. It's awesome. Only took a couple hours. But she's all glued back together and ready to go. So I'm going to put the wings back on it and put the cowl and prop back on it and fly her tomorrow. So thanks for your patience. Thanks for watching. And have a good day. Oh, by the way, feel free to comment, thumbs up, you know, call me a dumbass if you want, I don't care. This is a learning experience for me. I hope it taught you guys something. If it didn't, then I'm sorry. And I hope you enjoyed the video anyway. See ya. Okay, well, she's done. She's put together, and there's the CG. Batteries in it all the way forward. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So tomorrow she's ready to fly. I will do a 14-minute flight. I'm going to have somebody else videoing, so I'll have a witness. And I'll post it for you guys because I'm tired of you guys basically calling me a liar. I don't like that very much. So anyway, wooden firewall. I think it's stuck together. So I like it. I like it a lot. So here's the airplane. The fixed wing. I don't think the fixed wing is going anywhere. So this is the wing I repaired.
Your battery's
It's
dying.
not going anywhere. So there we go. Plane's together. We're all done and happy. So time to fly it, test fly it, find out what's going on, see if we have any more problems. Have a good day.